Have you ever noticed how the nights seem to grow longer as we grow older? You lie there in the quiet, yet your mind refuses to rest, wandering through old memories, replaying conversations from years ago, worrying about the health of tomorrow, or wondering whether you've done enough in this life. The body may slow down with age, but the mind often becomes even busier, drifting between what was and what might be. Why does this happen? Why does the heart grow softer while the thoughts grow louder? Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us that peace does not disappear with age. It doesn't fade, it deepens, when we learn to look inward with clarity and compassion. Tonight we begin a soft journey into the mind's quiet storm, discovering how to loosen the knots of worry and return to the stillness that has always lived beneath our thoughts. These next 6 lessons are not about fighting the mind or forcing silence. They are about easing into understanding, letting the heart unclench, and allowing the mind to settle like calm water after a restless wind. So take a slow breath. Let us begin this gentle reflection together. Lesson number 1, seeing the roots of overthinking. Imagine the mind as a breeze that never settles, changing direction without warning, stirring up dust one moment and falling quiet the next. As we grow older, this inner wind can feel even stronger. One thought pulls you toward something that happened decades ago, while another pushes you into fears about tomorrow. The mind drifts because drifting is what it has always done. In Buddhist teaching, the restless mind is not a flaw, it is simply its nature. The Buddha likened the mind to a lively creature, always moving, always searching for something to grasp, and as the years pass, the branches it jumps between, memories, regrets, hopes, uncertainties, grow more tangled. This is why overthinking becomes more intense in later life. We hold tightly to what used to be, our youth, our abilities, the people we loved, and at the same time, we brace ourselves for what might come: illness, loneliness, change, or the unknown. But here is the gentle truth. Thoughts themselves are not the enemy. A thought only becomes heavy when we cling to it, when we try to wrestle with it or believe it must be solved immediately. Overthinking is not caused by thinking too much. It is caused by holding on too tightly. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a different approach, not to push thoughts away, not to fight them, but to watch them. Just as you would watch clouds drift across the sky, you can learn to observe your thoughts without stepping inside them. When you notice a memory rising, you can say, "Ah, this is a memory visiting." When fear appears, you can gently acknowledge, "This is a fear passing through." Think of your mind as a house and your thoughts as guests. Some stay briefly, some linger longer, some you wish would leave sooner. But you are not the guest. You are the one who opens the door, the one who sees them come and sees them go. This shift, from being inside the thought to simply observing it, is the doorway to peace. It loosens the grip of overthinking because you are no longer tangled in every story the mind tells. You begin to realize that a thought is just a momentary appearance, not a command you must obey. Try repeating quietly to yourself, "I am not my thoughts. I am the one who notices my thoughts." Say it slowly. Say it with kindness. With time, you will feel a spaciousness open within you, like a clear sky behind the moving wind. And in that space, overthinking begins to lose its power, not because the thoughts stop, but because you no longer chase them. You learn to rest behind them, steady and unshaken. That is where peace begins. Lesson number 2, resting in impermanence. If you step outside at dawn, you'll notice something gentle yet profound. No 2 mornings ever look the same. The light shifts, the air feels different, the breeze carries a new scent. Even when the world seems familiar, it is quietly changing in every moment. This simple truth is the heart of Buddhist wisdom. Life is always in motion, never fixed, never frozen. Impermanence is not a concept we memorize. It is something we live. As the years pass, we feel it more clearly. The body softens, friendships evolve, routines shift, and the world around us seems to hurry forward. Sometimes this change brings sadness, and sometimes it brings beauty. But whether we welcome it or resist it, change continues its steady rhythm. Overthinking often grows louder when we forget this natural flow. We try to hold on to moments that have already slipped away, or brace ourselves against futures that have not yet formed. The mind tightens, and the heart grows heavy. But when we remember that everything is in motion, every emotion, every fear, every memory, something inside us begins to relax. Change is not an enemy. It is the very pulse of life. The old tree lets its leaves fall without grief, trusting that new ones will bloom in spring. The ocean does not cling to the waves. It allows each one to rise and fade. In the same way, we can learn to let our thoughts move through us without gripping them. Whenever worry arises, try whispering to yourself, "This will shift. This moment is passing." It is not denial, it is clarity. Just as no storm lasts forever, no thought stays fixed. Even the feelings that seem overwhelming soften with time, like the fading of evening light. When your mind wanders back to an old regret, gently remind yourself, that moment has already changed. I do not need to carry it. And when fear pulls you toward tomorrow, say softly, "Tomorrow has not arrived. I can rest here." This simple awareness is a kind of inner exhale. It loosens the knots of overthinking not by force, but by understanding. When we see that life is always unfolding, thought by thought, breath by breath, we begin to release the pressure to control everything. Impermanence is not meant to frighten us. It is meant to free us. It shows us that nothing remains stuck, not the pain, not the confusion, not the worry. Everything moves, everything shifts. And when we align ourselves with that truth, our hearts become lighter, our minds become softer, and peace quietly returns, like a new morning, never the same as the last, yet always arriving. Lesson number 3, returning to the breath, returning to now. There is a simple truth that often goes unnoticed. The only place peace can be found is in the present moment. Not yesterday, with all its memories and unfinished stories. Not tomorrow, with its uncertainties and imagined fears. Peace lives right here, in this breath, in this very second of being alive. Mindfulness is the gentle art of returning home to now, and the easiest doorway into this home is the breath. The breath is always with you, always steady, always ready to guide you back whenever the mind begins to wander. You don't need to force anything or try to build concentration. All you need to do is notice. Take a slow inhale. Feel the cool air entering. Take a slow exhale. Notice the soft release. This simple awareness reconnects you with your body, anchoring you in a place the mind cannot drift away from, the immediacy of life itself. When your thoughts start racing, instead of chasing them, try pausing and silently saying, "In this breath, I return." You may feel your shoulders relax, your chest soften, your mind loosen its grip. Mindfulness is not about creating silence. It is about recognizing the silence that is already underneath the noise. And the beauty of this practice is that it does not require special conditions. You can return to the breath while pouring tea. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands before you lift it. When you walk, notice the rhythm of your steps and how the ground meets your feet. When you listen to the rain, allow yourself to hear each drop without naming or judging. These small, ordinary moments can become sacred reminders to come back to yourself. The mind will wander, because wandering is what minds do. But the breath will always be there, like a lighthouse guiding your attention back when the waves become rough. Each inhale tells you, "I am here." Each exhale whispers, "I can let go." Over time, you may notice something subtle. The present moment begins to feel more spacious, more kind. You become less pulled by regrets and less frightened by uncertainties. Your awareness grows steadier, like a boat anchored securely even when the current shifts. So, whenever the mind starts drifting into overthinking, Gently return to the only place where life truly happens. Come back to the breath. Let it carry you back to now, again and again, with patience and ease. And if this practice brings you even a small moment of calm, feel free to share below what it helped you notice. Your reflection may be the reminder someone else needs today. Lesson number 4. Softening the inner voice with compassion. As we grow older, something subtle often happens inside us. We become gentler with others, yet harsher with ourselves. We forgive a friend's mistake instantly, but replay our own for years. We show patience toward our children, yet speak to ourselves with a tone we would never use on anyone we love. This quiet self-criticism feeds overthinking, turning the mind into a place of constant evaluation and regret. But beneath all the noise, there is a longing to be understood, to be forgiven, to be held with kindness. Overthinking is often the heart's way of saying, "Please let me rest. Please, let me be enough." Buddhist teachings remind us that compassion begins not with the world, but with the self. A wise teacher once said that kindness offered inward becomes the foundation for kindness offered outward. When we learn to soften our inner voice, the entire landscape of the mind changes. So the invitation here is simple. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply care about. If your grandchild came to you with worry, you wouldn't scold them, you would reassure them. If an old friend confided a mistake from long ago, you wouldn't condemn them. You would listen with warmth. Offer that same tenderness to your own heart. When a self-critical thought appears, try responding gently. "It's all right. I did the best I could." When fear arises, whisper, "I will meet tomorrow when it comes. For now, I can rest." And when regret surfaces, breathe and say, "May I be at ease. May I be free from this weight. May I treat myself with softness." These simple phrases are like warm light entering a dim room. They don't erase the past, but they transform the atmosphere in which the past is held. Little by little, the mind begins to loosen its grip because the heart is no longer fighting itself. You may even notice that the more gentle you become internally, the quieter the mind grows. Harshness fuels the fire of overthinking. Compassion cools it. A soft heart does not weaken you. It anchors you. It brings clarity, steadiness, and a sense of relief that cannot come from self-judgment. When you practice speaking kindly to yourself, you are not indulging in self-pity. You are healing. You are honoring the truth that a lifetime of experiences has shaped you, softened you, and taught you more than you often give yourself credit for. And when the heart softens, the mind naturally settles, like water becoming clear once the stirring stops. Peace begins not with thinking less, but with treating yourself with the compassion you have always deserved. Lesson number 5. Releasing the weight of holding on. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones, each stone a memory, a worry, a regret, or an expectation you've been holding on to for years. Some were placed there recently, others have been with you for decades. Over time, you forget the stones are even inside. You only feel the heaviness. This is what overthinking often is, the weight of things we've carried far longer than we needed to. As we age, this tendency to hold on grows stronger. We revisit old conversations, replay choices we cannot redo, cling to identities we once had, or worry about futures we cannot shape. It's not because we are weak. It's because the heart remembers deeply, and the mind tries to protect us by gripping tightly to what feels familiar. Buddhist wisdom offers a softer path. Letting go does not mean erasing the past or pretending nothing happened. It means releasing our grip so that each experience can rest in its rightful place. A memory can remain a memory without becoming a prison. A fear can be acknowledged without being carried. A hope can be held lightly without becoming a burden. One gentle practice to begin loosening this grip is to use the breath as a doorway. As you inhale, feel the body expand. As you exhale, whisper to yourself, let it return to where it belongs. You are not pushing the thought away. You are simply allowing it to settle. Just as a leaf falls when it is ready, just as a wave sinks back into the sea. Over time, the mind learns that it does not need to cling to every story it tells. Another helpful image is this: you are the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. Some clouds arrive dark and heavy, some pass by barely noticeable, but none of them define the sky. None of them alter its vastness. You don't have to chase them or force them to disappear. You only need to recognize that they are passing phenomena, not the essence of who you are. When you see yourself as the sky rather than the clouds, a quiet freedom begins to emerge. You stop trying to fix every thought. You stop wrestling with memories or arguing with fears. You simply let them drift, trusting that they will move on in their own time. Letting go is not a dramatic act. It is a subtle softening, a willingness to stop holding things so tightly. And in that softening, the mind finds relief. The heart becomes lighter. Peace enters naturally, not because the thoughts vanished, but because you stopped carrying their weight. Lesson number 6. Discovering stillness as the final teacher. There comes a stage in life when the desire to run, to chase, to prove slowly fades. The mind that once rushed toward answers begins to long for something gentler, something quieter. It is a natural shift, like evening light softening after a long day. And in this softening, many people discover a profound truth. Stillness is not emptiness. It is wisdom in its most peaceful form. As we grow older, silence becomes more available to us. The world feels a little farther away. The noise of daily life settles, and we spend more time in our own company. For some, this quiet feels unfamiliar at first, but within it lies a doorway into seeing life with new clarity. When the world outside slows, the world inside becomes easier to observe. This is why stillness is often called the final teacher. Stillness does not require isolation or long hours of meditation. It can be found in the simplest moments. Sitting with the morning light, feeling a gentle breeze move across your face, pausing before a meal, or closing your eyes for just a minute. What matters is the willingness to stop doing and simply be. Try this small practice. Sit comfortably. Let your hands rest. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a slow breath in, and slowly let it go. For 1 or 2 minutes, allow your mind to settle without forcing anything. Let thoughts rise and fall on their own, like ripples fading across a quiet pond. When the surface of a lake is disturbed, it cannot reflect the sky clearly. But when the water grows still, even the faintest stars become visible. The mind works the same way. When it stops wrestling with memories, regrets, and worries, clarity appears naturally. Not because you searched for it, but because you stopped disturbing the water. This is what Buddhists call full stillness, a state where you are completely present, completely awake, yet deeply at peace. It is not a void. It is a fullness, a sense of being anchored in something larger than thought. In this space, questions loosen their grip, fears soften, and the heart feels held by a quiet, steady assurance. And here is the most comforting truth. Peace does not come from eliminating every thought. That would be another form of striving. True peace arises when you rest in the awareness that stands behind the thoughts, the part of you that has always been calm, like the deep waters beneath the waves. When you discover this stillness, you are no longer pulled by the mind's storms. You simply watch them pass. And in that watching, you realize that you have always had what you were seeking, the quiet strength of being fully here, fully alive, fully at ease. As we come to the end of this gentle reflection, take a moment to notice how your breath feels now, how your mind may be just a little softer, a little quieter. Overthinking was never a flaw. It was simply your heart searching for peace in the only way it knew. But now you've seen that peace isn't found by solving every thought. It's found by resting beneath them, by meeting yourself with understanding, by letting life unfold without gripping so tightly. If this message touched something in you, let your voice be part of this shared calm. Leave a comment, offer a like, or subscribe so these teachings can continue to nourish you and others walking the same path. May your days feel lighter, your heart steadier, and your mind at ease. Peace has always been within you. Now you know how to return to it.